G'day. If you're a business owner, you would have seen throughout the internet that there is just a stack of resources providing all sorts of free information, all sorts of advice from importance of strategy, importance of communication before tactics, importance of identifying the right tactic for your market, and on it goes. And that's all good information, no doubt about it. There's also training, seminars, webinars, podcasts. The list is endless in terms of the media that you can consume this information on. And in a sense that we're not doing anything different in that way. So we wanted to try something that would be a little bit different. And that is, instead of providing case studies, testimonials, and all that important stuff, which is critical, is that we thought we'd start a business transparently, go through the strategy, go through the targeting of the market, going through the product offering, going through the pricing strategy, going through what tactics we're going to select that speak to the market for this particular customer type, or for this particular business type. We do all that over a series of start right through to maturation of the business and continue on beyond that, especially when we see circumstances in the market as we do today. Specifically, or as an example, Google, for example, changing the way that backlinks work for websites. That's generated a fair amount of interest and problems for businesses online that were completely dependent on organic search traffic. Equally, Google have recently changed how AdWords geographic targeting works, which of course impacts businesses who were using the old be able to point, click and shape a demographic area. You're now stuck with Google's defined geographic regions or radius, which, all these little things change the way businesses can interact online. And the less dependent we are on any one specific channel, such as the Googles of the world, the more robust your business will be, and the longer it will be around for, I would imagine. So what I've got here is basically the first episode, or the first instance, where we introduce the business, what the business is, the name, why we've selected that name, the target, where we're at with regard to the web development and the strategy. And we'll basically keep these rolling to, as I said, evolve the business live, in the sense of be able to show the full progress of this business, the market tests, what communication is working, etc., to basically show you why we recommend specific ways of marketing a business online. So enough yapping from me here in front of the camera. Let's jump online and I'll go through that presentation with you in the first episode.
Alrighty, so as introduced, the business name that we're setting up is a business called Duper. And the URL that we've registered is duper.co. So here we have it, back on the 26th of March, so just about a month ago, off by a day, we registered the domain name duper.co, and we've basically set up the hosting, and the site is ready to rock. So again, why are we basically doing this style of presentation? Why are we going to undertake this journey? So first of all, we basically wanted to track the development of a new web business. So that included from decisions in this sense of the web URL, the technology that will underlie the website, why we're using specific types of technology for a business, and there is absolutely specific reasons on very solid and proven methodologies that basically work, and they provide a great deal of scalability as to why we use the technology, but we'll get to that. But we wanted to also go through the beginning to end process, and the reason why that's important is that a lot of businesses start with a product in mind, or a lot of businesses start with a specific outcome that they want to achieve without necessarily identifying up front what the strategy is, what the communication would be to achieve that outcome. We also wanted to go through and demonstrate the why we set up a business in a specific way. So as we touched on, the technology, the communication, identifying the market, and then basically putting in place that message to market. And of course the marketing tactics, which is the message to market component. And last of all, we wanted to actually go through this and use it as an information tool, both in training as well as demonstration online of why we do specific things. So the current status of the business is that we've got the domain name, as you saw, we've registered the domain. WordPress is installed, and we've selected WordPress based on its scalability, and we're going to go into that in quite a lot of detail as we go through the web development component as the site evolves. We're currently testing an e-commerce solution. We're using WooCommerce, which is basically available from a business who runs Woo themes. We've basically got a project logo. It's not necessarily the final logo, but we've got something to work from. Basically, the idea of to get started, not get perfect. We've got our internal development team engaged, and we've given them the brief. And of course, the product that we're going to use, well, the business is called Duper, which we'll go into in a second. We've found a supplier. So basically, here is the WordPress install as it is today on the 25th of April. Well, this screenshot was grabbed last night as I was preparing for this presentation. But what we've got here is a basic templated WordPress install. We've got a name of the business set up as Duper, and the byline or the tag being the source of incense. We've got a number of products loaded from a supplier that we were investigating, and as it turns out, we're not particularly happy with. But so most of the content as it is today will be blown away, and we'll be starting again. But in essence, what we've got is a blank slate. So all we've got there is a generic template. We are using the Genesis framework available from StudioPress or the guys at Copyblogger. We'll also be installing Premise, which is one of their products, and Scribe. So basically the whole Copyblogger toolkit. We're rather big fans of it. Here's the product page. So this is the WooCommerce generic product page. Again, this is us feeling out whether the WooCommerce solution was appropriate for us. This is in no way reflective of a design that we're going to move forward with. It's just simply validating base functionality. And this is just basically a listing of all the products that we had loaded to that point. So as you're seeing, we're starting to get a feel for what this business is all about. It's going to be about selling incense online. So basically, here's the project logo, Duper. Duper is where we got the name from. It's Sanskrit, which is one of the earliest spoken and written languages in the world. It's Sanskrit for the word incense, or it means incense. So why are we going into incense? Well, it just happens to be something that I'm interested in, which is very helpful, and I would recommend that most business owners go into business, or people who want to get into business, do something they like. The motivation behind it was basically one day I was actually looking for ingredients to make my own. I got into an idea or an interest area of basically creating my own dupe, which is incense cones. And I needed some raw ingredients to make incense with. And my investigations online weren't very fruitful. I mean, yes, they are available, and some of the sites are hideous, which made me think that this is a great idea to go into. Of course, we've done some research, which we'll go into as well, in terms of identifying whether there is a need in the marketplace. The web development, of course, will be done internally by Evermeria Partnerships development team. We won't dwell on that too much, other than to say that we're using our own expertise. So we're ensuring that we're converts of our own system, and that's absolutely critical for this project. The supplier. All right, so the story behind the supplier. Again, as I was saying, we're looking for basically putting together a business to meet a need that I couldn't actually have satisfied easily in the marketplace. I could get what I needed and what I wanted, sorry. However, it involved a number of websites, or going to one I wasn't very comfortable with, based on the fact that, one, it was difficult to use, and two, I wasn't really confident in their web merchant system, and I didn't know what I was necessarily leading myself in for. In other words, they had a trust problem. And so basically, trying to find suppliers that I didn't want to be overburdened from a business perspective in terms of having to go through multiple suppliers. I wanted to be as supplier-centric as possible, but there are risks inherent with that as well, and we understand those as well. So essentially, we looked at one offshore system. It was based in the United States. It was a drop shipper, which meant that we didn't have to worry about the logistics of sending out the product, and which was the most desirable, because we wanted to focus on marketing the business, not necessarily getting into the logistics aspects. However, due to the significant limitations of both their business, the packaging, and the model, it just didn't work. So we've come down to a product style. In order to offer the product that we want to offer, and that's absolutely critical, right? Product to market. We had to get into the logistics business. So we'll be ordering from a supplier, having it shipped to a local location. At the moment, we'll start off with basically using the packaging that comes in, but as we customize products, it's something that we'll be looking into as well. Now, the packaging and promotional component, not so much for this forum. However, depending on the response to this, and we'll ask the question at a later date once we get there, if there's something of interest, then we'll delve into that as well. So the strategy, where we're at, we've got the business plan. It's formulated, and we'll share the business initial strategy in the next video. And we also have the marketing strategy somewhat formulated. And when I say somewhat, it's formulated to a level of detail beyond what I would going to post here, primarily because I want to make sure that these videos are digestible, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself with regard to the strategy that we've put together. So what we'll do is we'll walk through the high level aspects of the strategy along with the business plan in the next video. So next steps, where we're at from the project point of view. So the website, the way we're developing it is basically we've defined what features and functionality and the design brief for the website. So we're basically going through an internal prototyping, iterative approach to development. So the first iteration, based on the design brief that we've provided to date, it will be available in 5 days. So we'll do that video once that's available. And at the same time, in the background, we'll be doing the content creation. So we're not going to do things serially. We want to get this business up and running as quickly as possible. And the content creation strategy is part of the marketing strategy and then the overall business plan. So what we need to do is known. We just need to get going. So that's part of the next steps. As far as the next steps for the products, we're going to basically place a stock order and start logistics testing in terms of how long it takes for that supplier to basically provide to us. It's another level of validating the supplier. Even though we're somewhat limited to these people, I want to understand what we're in for so we can ensure that we set the right expectations up front to any customers who wish to use this site. And we'll also be looking at in-house product development ideas and product opportunities. So that's basically where we're at for our first look at the business. It's early days, so in the next video, which we'll do over the next 2 or 3 days, we'll basically produce the business plan high level, strategy high level, and what we have in mind for this business. And then, of course, later, before the week, a week from today, we'll also be able to do a video on our first look at the first development iteration as the website starts to take shape. So until then, thanks very much for watching, and I hope you got something out of it. If you wish to get in touch at all, feel free to Twitter. I'm Matt Coulihan at Twitter, and you're also available through the Evermeria partnership or on the website that you're viewing this video on. Again, thanks again. Speak soon.